What's good, folks? It's Nightmare Frame here with a new Warframe video, coming at you with a buffed Mag versus level 9,999. So Mag gets a lot of hate because there are a lot of people who have no idea how she works and don't understand how her second ability scales. But it's all good. They can go back to enjoying Inaris and Wukong. Oh wait. So with the Veilbreaker release, they did buff Mag. Her first ability used to toss enemies behind you. Now the pull is just one of the best grouping abilities. Casting it pulls them right in front of you, creating a small vortex, clumping the enemies in one pile. Another change was made to her POLARISE. Before explaining the change, you have to know how the ability works. POLARISE sends a magnetic pulse wave that expands outwards and strips enemy armor and shields while dealing magnetic and true damage. This true damage is equal to the armor removed. Mag also regenerates her shield when this ability is cast. Once enemies that have their armor and shields make contact with the expanding wave, it will deal a burst of magnetic damage within the area. This burst drops POLARISE shards, which Mag can then pick up and have the shards orbit her. When enemies make contact with these shards, they take slash and puncture damage. So the change was made that the shards are larger, more visible, and have an increased orbit radius of 3 meters. And these shards can also be picked up by her second ability, MAGNETIZE. This damage is also added to MAGNETIZE's damage absorption. Okay, let me explain her bread and butter, MAGNETIZE. This is a DPS and a tanking ability. Casting it on an enemy will create a bubble that pulls enemies towards the center and redirect all projectile shots in and from outside the bubble to the center, and it will absorb the damage and have it multiplied. And once the duration has run out, the bubble will detonate and deal an AoE blast explosion, and 25% of the absorbed damage will be added to the explosion. This is what allows certain weapons to scale even higher, especially the Tenet Arca Plasmor. This bubble will also protect you from enemy fire, meaning if you stand on the other side and around the bubble, you will not take any damage from gunfire. There is the holding variant of this ability, but it's utterly useless because it locks you out of doing anything else. Now moving on to Crush's Armor Strip Augment that was recently buffed. Mag's Augment used to strip a lot less and had a duration. However, now with the buff, along with the armor strip changes, you only require 134% power strength. And on top of that, the armor strip is permanent. Okay. Now, let's get to the synergy between the Plasmor and MAGNETIZE. The Tenet Plasmor has innate 3-meter body punch-through and the ability to ricochet off of surfaces, and this ricochet has a longer lifespan if it hits more than one enemy. So what's essentially happening is MAGNETIZE pulls in the projectile and has it orbit within it. The Tenet Plasmor punch-through allows it to go through the enemies, and the ricochet effect is having the projectile bounce through those enemies at a ridiculous speed, causing multiple hits within the center of the bubble within a short instance. And of course, projectile flight speed also helps increase that duration a bit more, aka Unga Bunga Big Damage Go Brr. And since this is a weapon and Warframe synergy where I need more damage on the weapon, I decided to subsume on Eclipse on her first ability. Before anyone asks, Eclipse and Roar are two different abilities. To have a deeper understanding, go take a look at this video. Alright, let's take a look at the build. In the aura, I have Growing Power for that 25% power strength increase when I proc a status effect. I'm going to pair this up with Augur Secret, Umbral Intensify, and of course, Molt Augmented. All of this will contribute to my damage increase on Eclipse, because all you need is Umbral Intensify to get that 100% armor strip on Crush. Efficiency at 175% with a rank 4 Fleeting Expertise and Streamline. Do not max out Fleeting Expertise or else you will drop down your duration. And to counteract the negative duration from Fleeting Expertise, I am using Primed Continuity. Natural Talent just to increase the casting speed and animation, because you do not want any downtime when casting your abilities. Fracturing Crush is the armor stripping augment here. And that's pretty much the build. To replenish your shields, I will be using Polarize and Crush. Polarize, of course, will help me create those shards, replenish my shields, and Crush will armor strip enemies, give me and my allies overshields. And for the weapon of choice is, of course, the Tenet Arca Plasmor. The bonus on my Tenet Arca Plasmor is Toxin. Without Toxin, this ain't gonna work right. Let's take a look at this specific build. Over here, as you can see, I do not have Hunter Munitions or anything like that. The one and only elemental mod that I have on is Primed Chilling Grasp. It's a cold mod. Paired up with my innate Toxin, I will form Viral. Why am I only modding for Viral? That is because I'm going up against armor stripped Grineer. We don't need to bleed enemies for this setup. It's just pure raw damage. Hence the Helminth Eclipse. Prime Cleanse Grineer is going to be our faction damage multiplier, multiplying our damage even more. Crit chance, crit damage, multi-shot, Vigilante supplies for the ammo mutation, and of course, primary Deadhead. This is going to be our base damage multiplier, and it's going to give us a headshot damage multiplier on the Tenet Plasmor. Galvanize Savvy is our Gundition Overload mod. Basically, having unique status effects on a target will increase your base damage. And finally, Galvanize Acceleration, increasing our projectile flight speed. This is going to be perfect to help increase the rotation and speed of our projectile when shooting into the bubble. Now, as you can see, we do have bonus Radiation. Radiation does not work against the Demolists. All of this is going to be added to my total modded elemental damage, which is going to be Viral. Now onto my utility weapon, which is the Epitaph. The Epitaph is used here for two things: to prime the Demolists with my modded elements, which is Viral and Heat, and of course the Quickfire from Epitaph will force proc Cold. These cold procs will slow down the Demolists, which will provide me a decent amount of time to set up my damage rotation. You may be asking, why have I also modded this for Viral while my main damaging weapon is also Viral? Well, you see, the Tenet Plasmor is not going to be proccing Viral. Why do I need to proc Viral? Because with 10 stacks of Viral, I will multiply my damage done to the health by 325%. So what I'm going to be doing is stacking them with Viral, armor stripping, and just unloading a shit ton of damage into their faces. The build is very simple: multi-shot with a little bit of utility for that dodge roll speed, my Viral 60-60 paired with a Heat 60-60, Fulmination to increase the blast radius of my Epitaph Quickfire, Sure Shot for the status chance, and Carnage Stinger for the additional status chance, not the slash proc. The Excellence can be whatever you want. I just use Suppress right now because it's universal, and there's no point taking Reflex Draw because we have universal holster speed increase. For my companion, I am using the Jinn. Why the Jinn? Well, for one thing only. It's because it's a Sentinel, and it can help me carry the Vigilante mods. Make sure you have Reawaken, Fatal Attraction, and Assault Mode. Why do we need the Assault Mode? Well, it's because of the weapon that we're going to be using, which is the Verglass. We have the 3 Vigilante mods to increase the chances of getting an additional crit tier, and of course, it is base cold damage. We're going to give it a lot of fire rate, multi-shot, and status chance, just to help proc even more, just to help it proc even more cold, to slow down the enemies even more. And one of the main sources of survivability, especially in a hectic level cap scenario, is going to be Vazarin. Vazarin's Protective Sling will give you that invulnerability for 5 seconds, especially when you're surrounded by toxic Eximus and electric Eximus. It's pain. You can't be out there spamming abilities to get shields back. You need another source of survivability, and that's going to be your Vazarin Focus School. Alright, here's another useful tool that you can use, and that is Magus Lockdown. It is an Operator Arcane. Whenever you Void Sling, you will tether enemies. And if enemies are slowed down, that tether effect lasts a bit longer, so it's pretty useful. Slow down enemies, tether them down, and it will take a bit longer to recover. Alright, let me show you how this build works step by step. Alright, here comes the Demolist. We switch to our utility weapon, prime them. As you can see, our Verglass is also slowing them down. Lock down, armor strip, user 2, shoot into the bubble. Where's the Demolist? Alright, here comes the Demolist. Using our Epitaph, we're going to slow down the Demolist. See all those cold procs and viral procs affecting the Demolist as it's slowly moving towards us. Going to use our 4th ability to armor strip it, lock it down. Watch for the pulse. Caster 2, shoot into the bubble. Alright folks, that has been it from me. I hope you've enjoyed and learned something from this video. And if you did, please feel free to leave a like, share, and subscribe for more Warframe content, streams, and so much more. Do refer to the description. I will leave a VOD of the full Disruption run down below. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.